Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. In this video, I want to talk to you about something that's not specifically blues related. You might call it bluesy. For example, the tune Deja Voodoo by Kenny Wayne Shepherd is an example of this chord progression. I always kind of think of it in relation to things like Oye Como Va by Santana, which again, I realize is not blues, but a lot of people might call it bluesy at times. This sound, the Dorian sound and the kind of the chord progression that goes with it, I hear it a lot in, I'll say, jam music. I'm not a huge Grateful Dead listener, but in times that I have taught material from the Grateful Dead over the years, I've seen this sound pop up a lot. So I don't want to speak too much to that, but for sure, like I say, the Santana type of stuff, it also works really great in like a blues rock context. I find the Dorian sound comes up a lot. Joe Bonamassa, Gary Moore, a lot of those guys that have maybe a little bit more technique and need a few more notes. The Dorian makes a good choice for that. So what I'm gonna do is kind of walk you through the sound, kind of show you how it pairs up with the minor pentatonic and the blues notes, which is kind of cool, and then a little bit about how to use it over this particular progression. So the sound itself, assuming that we're starting on an A, and why not? It's as good as any other note. We like A. It's a happy note. So we're gonna go kind of, you can probably even see the A minor pentatonic in here, but we're gonna go A, B, C. So keep in mind that the Dorian sound is the second mode of the major scale. So this is gonna have all of the same notes as G major, but A is going to be the most important. So that's really the main thing that you need to keep in mind. You want to look at this from an A perspective. In other words, A is your most important note. So A, B, C, 5, 7, 8, D and E, 5 and 7 on the 5th string, F sharp, G and A, 4, 5 and 7 on the 4th string, B, C, D, 4, 5 and 7 on the 3rd string, E, F sharp and G, 5, 7, and 8 on the 2nd string. A, that's where it would end, but still in position we can grab a B and a C. So that's 5, 7, and 8 on the 1st string. 8, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5, 7, 5, 4, 7, 5, 4, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5. For me, it's easier to remember it by fingering. 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, a little shift, 2 sets of 1, 2, 4, and then 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Okay, so it's a fairly straightforward sound. Now you can probably notice, right, that if we take A minor pentatonic, we see that it looks kind of really similar. The A is shared between both, the B is only in the Dorian, the C is in both, the D is in both, the E is in both, the F sharp is only in the Dorian, the G is in both, A is in both, B is only in the Dorian, C, D are both, E is both, F sharp is only in the Dorian, G is in both, A is in both. So if you are theoretically inclined, the Dorian scale is a pentatonic minor with an added 2 and 6. That's another way to look at it, okay? Similarly, if you want to add in the flat 5 blue note, you can most definitely do that. And of course, what you want to do to make this sound come out, right? If you think about it, okay, there's only 2 notes that are different between a minor pentatonic and a Dorian. So if I play minor pentatonic notes, let's say I only play the A, C, D, E, and G. But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, this is Dorian. Maybe you think that, but nobody's going to hear that because it sounds like minor pentatonic. So you want to make sure that when you play the Dorian, that you take advantage of these notes that are different. Because if you don't don't take advantage of those notes that are different, it's just going to sound like a minor pentatonic scale. 5/7 of it is the minor pentatonic scale. So make sure you take advantage of those notes. It's really not going to do much. Now, there are, of course, gobs and gobs and gobs of chord progressions that one could use this scale over. But the one that seems to come up a lot is like, this is what I call a 2-5 progression. Even though we're going to say that this A minor is the 1, it's going to act like a 2. Don't worry about it. If you got a minor chord and you got a dominant 7th chord or a major chord a 4th above it, meaning the root is on the very next string. That's the interval of a 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So if we go from A minor to D7, that's a perfect candidate for the Dorian sound. G minor to C7 would be G Dorian. C minor to F7 would be a C Dorian. Okay? So in our case, we'll do A minor 7. You can play A minor 7 however you like. I'm going to use a D9 because I just like that sound. So I'll let me turn off my overdrive here, or I'll just back off a little bit. I'm just going to put a nice little easy kind of Santana-y thing into my looper. Okay, and now I can use the scale. Notice how I switched into the minor pentatonic and it sounds good. Or I can use the Dorian. You can go back and forth between them all you like. Right? There's no... That's kind of the nice thing about this is you can really mix and match. So you may only know the Dorian in the one position. Fine, no problem. Switch over to minor pentatonic if you want to get out of that position. It's just a really, really nice sound. Now, one more little thing that I'll suggest to you that you practice on. A lot of people practice scales up and down, right? First of all, practice the entire range of the position you're in, but start at the top. But come back to the root. Right? Start from this A up here. And that's going to give you the sound in a more, I'll say, natural, normal soloing type of context, right? Solos don't usually start down here. They start up here, okay? And that's a really cool thing. Another thing that you might want to play with is an idea called broken thirds. And broken thirds are a great way to break up your scales when you have a lot of notes. It doesn't really work for a pentatonic scale, but it really works for a diatonic. And I call it leapfrogging. I'm going to play the first note, and then I'm going to skip a note and go down to the next note. So in our case, then I'm going to go to the note that I skipped, go to the note below that, and the note below that. So basically I play every note, then I skip one, then I play the next note. Then I go back to the note that I skipped, then I skip one, then I play the next note. Then I go back to the note that I skipped, then I skip one, then I go to the note that I skipped. Then I go back, then I skip one, then I go back to the note that I skipped, skip one, go back to the note that I skipped, skip one, right? Go to the note that I skipped. And believe it or not, that really, it's a really nice melodic device. It's a really nice way to create a sound it's got all of the notes in the scale, it's got the sound of the scale, but it doesn't just sound like you're playing a scale, right? It's not just, you know, playing down the scale or playing up. It just sounds a lot hipper and a lot cooler when you do like some broken thirds or something, okay? So that is the Dorian sound, something to play around with. Hopefully you'll kind of dig on it. I do have a course called Modes Unleashed if you want to learn more about modes. There's of course 7 of them because there's 7 notes in a major scale. So that's the way they work. But I'll try and leave a link near this video in case you're interested in more about the Modes Unleashed. And as always, if you have a friend that would dig this video, feel free to share it with them. And I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed. I will talk to you soon. Take care.